What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 158 of Two Amazon Sellers and a Microphone, brought to you by Solozo. It's bright and early in the morning here in Kansas City. I know, Tomer, you're in Florida, so it's not a little later, but we are super excited to have you on. This is going to be another Amazon seller journey story, but we're also going to talk, we'll dive into sourcing and Sourcing Monster. So we're excited to have you, Tomer from Sourcing Monster. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. It's really a pleasure. We talked a little before the live went on, and it's really an honor to be here. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. The honor is ours. We love these types of formats where we get to talk about just the journey that other entrepreneurs have taken in their business. A lot of times it's very inspiring and you learn a lot. It's fun to learn about the mistakes and successes that people have had. So I know a lot of people out there, they've probably heard of you. They've seen you. You're all over YouTube. You put out unbelievable content. So thanks for doing that. Obviously, we love to see.
That's how we found him.
Yeah, that's how we found you. And it is great stuff. So for everybody who doesn't know you or hasn't heard your story, we'd love to just start with sort of your journey in selling and what you're doing on YouTube and what you're doing with Sourcing Monster. So you've got the floor for a few minutes. Let's dive into your background a little bit.
Yeah, of course. So since I was very young, I was really into like computers, and back then it was the IRC, the MIRC, where you communicate with people, and it was like hacking groups and doing some shady stuff. But that was like 10, 11. And since then, I was really, interested in the internet and what it is and how you can really reach many people and knowledge from your home. And I remember those years I was just all day at my computer. My friends would just back then you would have the intercom, they will buzz. I'm from Israel originally, and I moved to the States 8 years ago. So in Israel, they would buzz me, come play, come go outside, and I would just stay and focus on the computer. I remember that. And I remember that was 11, 12 years old. So my mother like asked me, what gift do you want for your upcoming birthday? And I told her like, I want these like books, like the programming books. So I started to program and copied some other people's websites and played with it. And then I started in a hosting company, which failed. I was 14 years old, so I didn't really know what I'm doing. But it really, it was really fun experience going to the data center. They see like a 14 years old trying to plug like, like servers and stuff like that. So that was really cool experience. And since then, I'm really was involved in some internet stuff, like trying to open websites, affiliate stuff, and some adventures like that, until I was I think 18 or 19, joined the family business. It was e-commerce business that my brother started 22 years ago. It was in the jewelry space, diamonds. And I started very slowly, learned a lot, did SEO, did marketing, and gained a lot of experience. My goals didn't really align with my brother goals. So at some point I figured it's not gonna really last, for long time. And I always looked, okay, what can I do? Because I really like control. I like to do things by my own. I don't like that people telling me, oh, you have to do this or that or do it that way. I'm very open to hear other people ideas and their way of thinking. But at the end of the day, I like to get the decision. So I knew that I have to find something else to do. So I really was sitting. That was like a little over 3 years ago, sitting doing a research on where should I really start a new journey that could replace the income and I had a family and all of that I had from the other business. And I really decided to go with Amazon FBA because you could really see results very quick relatively to other business models. And investment wise, the same. You don't really need a lot of money to start an Amazon FBA business. Yes, you're not gonna see cash quickly, but that wasn't a problem because I still had my other job. So I decided to go on Amazon FBA. Like I had a plan If you guys have time, I can share the like what was my plan and how I was
Yeah.
able to achieve it.
Yeah,
Okay.
how'd you hear about Amazon FBA?
So you, like everyone else, like browsing
YouTube.
YouTube, so it seems so crazy ads with money falling from the sky, you know, like those crazy stuff.
I
So
love it.
That's exactly
yeah,
how it worked.
yeah. So you would see it all, but not like today. And again, I guess today I'm exposed to this less. I have YouTube, but without the ads enabled, so I basically I'm not really aware to what other people doing right now, but I'm sure it's always there. You always have those type of gurus that selling dreams and stuff like that, which I'm totally against. And we're going to talk about it, like what I'm doing with the YouTube channel later. But yeah, so I saw this ad and then started to explore it more. I saw this guy Derek struggle where he was having his course and promoting stuff, and it was like sounding so simple, right? So I
Mhm.
jumped into doing like my first product, and it was failed. It was like party decorations, very competitive, Chinese sellers, like super um like I said, competitive, and it didn't really work. And then I was like, for a month or two, was sitting and saying like whether it's worth it or not, like really sitting and trying to analyze what happened wrong. And came across another guy, and it seemed to be really legit guy, which was my mentor. His name is Yaniv, and basically like I felt inside that there is something here, but I did something wrong, right? So I
Mhm.
started to really come up with better plan. The plan was, okay, what are the resources that I have to really make it successful? And of course, that came from the goal first. So the goal was to make $10,000 in 1 year. I mean, every month, $10,000 profit every month. And I was saying, okay, what should I do? How much money should I invest? How much time I should put? What is the plan? How I'm going to reach my goal? And that was something different that I did, because for the last 12 years, or you know what, the 9 years before starting Amazon, I started so many things, but I was all over. So I
Mhm.
would sell and buy websites, I would do some affiliate things, everything, like like small things that I did, and pretty much all over. Didn't have the focus, didn't really was laser focused on one thing, and really doing everything that I can to make it happen. So I was really saying to myself, okay, you have to do things differently if you want different results, right? And that's what I did. I planned this the plan was to wake up 3 at 4 a.m. every day, because that's the only time that I had to work on the business. I tried before to work at nights after work, after putting my girls to to bed and sleep, but it didn't really work. I didn't have enough energy, so I said I must wake up early and just put this time, like 3 dedicated hours every day. And I knew that if I'm going to do it and commit to it 1 full year, I'm going to see results. I didn't know if I'm going to reach my goal or not, but I knew that good things will happen if I will be focused and just stick to the plan, no matter what the results are. I always really reminded myself this. Don't look at the results. Don't look at the results, because that's what happened before. I would start something and then see it doesn't work, or it doesn't really, goes as expected, and I would just, quit, or just don't put enough efforts on it. So my plan was really stick to the plan, just do what you told yourself you're going to do, and after a year you're going to judge. If it didn't work, it's all fine, but at least you gave it all. You stick to the plan, and you give it a fair chance, and that's what I did. And every day I remember it was at the beginning it was very fun, and even
Mhm.
though it was hard to wake up at 4 a.m. every day, it was like fun. And even if I was tired, I would walk up outside, wake up. It was I was in New Jersey, so I moved to Florida a year ago. So it was pretty cold. It was I started this journey like October, so the cold months came, and I was 4 a.m. like freezing outside. I remember that, like went to a playground, did like push-ups just to wake myself, get this energy on, and then came back home, started to work. So I had like only 2.5 hours, because I spent 30 minutes on this just morning ritual, like listening to audiobooks and walking and just moving my body, just to wake up and be in high energy. And then with the 2.5 hours, just worked on business. It was at the beginning, of course, a lot of learning. So I would listen to other people and YouTube and focusing on what I really need now. So back then, of course, it was product research because I didn't have a product. Really found a good product to launch, and then later on, I was focusing on some other stuff. So I always told myself, look, you have only 3 hours, so you have to be super focused on what you have to do now. What is the priority today? You can't just go and be all over and learn about optimizing your listings when you don't have a product yet. And that's something common. People starting, and you see them watching videos that are not really related to where they are in their journey or in their goal, right? They watch some other stuff, or they are really distracted by things that aren't doesn't really going to influence the bottom line. And it worked. And after a year, I remember that was the last month. So it was October. So only by October 2019, I was able to really reach that goal, $10,000 profit. I remember that was the best feeling in the world because it was so hard. And for the first time in my life, I really was able to reach that, like something that I was telling myself and setting a goal and really reaching that goal. And it was the best, most amazing feeling ever. And that really gave me so much confidence to do some other stuff and chase some bigger dreams and goals,
I'm sure you had some like life lessons throughout all of that. Looking back on that, if you had to change a few things when you first started out, what would that be? Would it be just being more laser focused, making more risk? What would you tell sellers that are in the similar spot you were in to do differently?
Yeah. So it's definitely, like, for me, it's the focus. Um, just don't do a million things. Just do one thing and do it like the best you can, right? And that's what I did differently this year. And you know what was funny? Because after that year, I set another goal. The goal was to make 50,000 a month profit, and I was able to reach it. But what happened during the second year is that I lost focus. I After 6 months, so after a year and a half, I decided to leave the other business that I was a partner in, and just focus on Amazon FBA full time. But what happened after that? That I was less focused. I had more time, and things started. I had so more distractions. I moved to Florida. Started. I guess I had too much confidence. Thought that everything that I'm gonna do gonna work great, which didn't. Um, and that was the mistake, the focus. So the second year I had less focus, and that led to kind of I was reaching my goal, and it was all good, but things started to go down, or not the way that I wanted them to be. So focus 100%, Chris. Like, focus is number one, I think, in anything that you do. I'm a really big believer in that.
I think you bring up such a good point, and I can relate completely to that, because when you start, you do have that energy and that focus, and you're like, I got to get it going. But at some point, I mean, this is the beauty of like the FBA model. But I mean, at some point, you're just making sales, and you got products that are rolling, and you forget how much work you put in to get it there. And I did the same thing. I was able to quit my job. It was amazing. It was the best feeling ever. But then I didn't spend 8 hours a day on my business anymore. I was like, I wake up and just refresh. And you're like, oh, look, I made so many sales. This is fantastic. And then you start launching just tons of products. You don't pay as much attention to it as you did the first one. I think that's a really good just lesson for people out there.
That's something that I was really realizing and was able to analyze just a few months ago. Because what I did after I reached the goal, I said, okay, I know I have that confidence. Everything is good. Everything I'm gonna bring would be a success. And I brought like 30 products in that year, and a lot of them failed. And I was saying, you know what? This is a good lesson here for me. I have to be more hands-on, more like I used to be, more focused. Get to fundamentals that help me reach my goals, and that's what I was doing, like, really last few months, just getting to what worked for me, right? Like, focus, not be distracted, and just do all of this. And big part of it, like, I have people reaching out to me, and some friends that I created through the Amazon Space community, which are it's great. And
Mm.
why you're not coming to this event? What you're not going to this event or this conference? But I always tell them this is distraction for me. If I go and I spend one day just flying somewhere, and then spending 2 more days there, and then another day for like come back and just get to the rhythm, that takes a lot of energy and focus from what I do. So I'm not saying I'm not going to any conferences and stuff like that, but it's for me like it's a way that I'm really distracted. So I'm really not doing it at the moment.
Yeah, it's not like it's the last one, right? Like there's always going to be a conference. So
Yeah,
it's wherever you're at in your business. If it fits in, great. But I love how you say that that was a distraction, because a lot of people would be like, let's just go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. But if you got your nose to the grind and you're working on your business, it is kind of a pushback. You may learn stuff when you go there, you may learn new tactics, but when you get back, you're kind of back to where you were before you even went. You kind of push yourself back a little bit. So I never thought of it like that, but that's a valid point. What is something in this space, like the Amazon space? What is something that you're really passionate about? Like for me, it's I love finding new product. I don't like the analytical stuff. I like to find product and like see if it works. I know finding product has some analytics to it as well, but I enjoy looking for new products. Some people like PPC. What is it for you?
yeah. I think it's two areas that I'm good at and I'm passionate about. First one is PPC. With PPC, that's something that I did before, so it was natural for me to just jump into the Amazon PPC platform, and it looks very natural to me because the same principles as Google Ads, and conversion optimization. I love really optimizing listings. It takes little effort to change the big like the bottom line in such a quick way, and that's amazing. And that's what I'm focusing on, like and also by every test that you do, that you try to optimize listing, you learn something new that you can apply to other listings. So
Mm.
that's why I love it so much. And people don't really pay enough attention to it. They try to send so much traffic and traffic and traffic, but you just change your main image or with some of the other points in your listing, giving more trust or touching people emotions in a better way could make a huge difference of 5 to 10% in conversion, let's say, that would lead to, you know if you break down the math. So I did this 2 days ago with a friend. He's a friend from here from Florida that want to start selling, and he have a listing, and I'm telling him, look, the main image, if you improve it by 5%, and let's say you sell like 3,000 units a month, that's like with and again, it's not exact numbers, but you could make like $3,000 or $4,000 more if you improve it by like 4%. And
Yeah.
you're like cheap on paying pick for some other testing tool like $300 or $400. It doesn't make sense. People sometimes very cheap on some stuff, but they don't realize that the return on it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the images, I mean, you got to pay up for them if you want good ones. Don't skip out on the images. That's what customers see when they type in your search terms and they find your product. And if you don't have good images, you're just shorting yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to your point, I mean, Chris and I, we talk to sellers all the time because they're looking to enhance their advertising. And so when we're on initial consultation with them, we look at their listings. And I mean, that's where it starts. I mean, you could drive all the traffic you want, like you mentioned, but one really quick way to lower your A costs is to improve your conversion rate. If you sell more to the traffic that's already coming, you're going to be more profitable. And you're right about that. And it should be something that you focus on. That's an area like when you're talking about when you just get a little bit disconnected from your business, a little bit comfortable. Those are the kinds of things that you stop doing. You're like, oh, it's good. This listing's totally fine. I'm generating sales. And you stop trying to make those incremental improvements.
Yeah, and I want to add something, Dustin. So sometimes people, like you said, they have a good converting listing. Let's say even like now it happened to me. I had a listing with a 40% conversion rate, and you say to yourself, what else you can do to improve it? It's going to be hard. But I was surprised, and I never come with assumptions. This is something I learned really the hard lesson with some other things in life. You never come up with assumptions. Always try to improve it. And with the 40% listing with that tons of traffic, 40% conversion, like even 1 or 2 or 3%, that's going to make a big difference. So always try to test, and I like to focus there first, and then on some other stuff. That's what I'm really love.
You mentioned early on that you have a plan. You had a plan, like a launching plan. Let's go through that a little bit. Let's talk about how you structure your launches, sort of from start to finish.
Product launches.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm always changing things. So, what worked for me 2 years ago, it's not gonna
Right.
work today. And to be honest, this year I didn't really launch a lot of products because I'm in the phase of exiting, preparing it, and
Nice.
some agents that are not good, we're cleaning them out, and pretty much like in 2 months, end of December, we're going to go to the market. So really, the plan is not to mess up and launch so many products, but basically, just be very aggressive. I just recently uploaded a video that is doing very well on YouTube. It was yesterday actually, about giveaways. We all know what happened. Like I think it's 2 weeks ago that Amazon
Yep.
announced about rebates, key elite sellers, that giveaways are not allowed. We all knew that it's not allowed. It's search manipulation. And I was against this method of doing giveaways like since the beginning, because I wanted to do something that is sustainable, compliance. I didn't want troubles. I heard about all these stories that people get banned, be and suspended, and I just did wanted to do things safe. That's my only income, and I have a family, and I didn't want to take risks. That's my approach. I know other people doing some other stuff, and it really depends where you are in life. I guess if you sold a business for 20 million and you just started again, you don't really care, and you're gonna do like ton of giveaways, and it's not a problem. But for myself, I didn't really like it. But I went to a month ago or 2 months ago to two conferences with really high and big sellers, even 9-figure sellers, and everyone was doing giveaways, and I was telling myself, must be something here. Everyone doing it, especially the big sellers. I'm missing here something. I'm doing something wrong. And I really like changed the way I think, and tried giveaways, and it worked amazingly. I was able to revive some ASINs and push other keywords on good ASINs to top positions. And then this thing happened like 2 weeks ago. And it made me think, you know what? It maybe happened for a reason for myself, because that I don't want to do it. After thinking about this and hearing stories about people doing giveaways and then selling the business without telling the aggregators, whoever they bought, that they did giveaways or did crazy stuff. I like, this the person or company going to buy my business. I don't want them to get in trouble. Honestly, I don't want them to. I want to give them a clean and good business. Of course, I did it like in a very like the limited, tested things more, and didn't do it in an aggressive way. But it was a way for me to really realize that I don't want to do it anymore, and it's not really sustainable. For me, it's not something that I want to do or continue doing, and I shifted from so product launches are now, we have another product that coming, going to be like I did before. Just bring a good product to the market, do aggressive PPC. You're gonna lose some money at the beginning, and just you just have to really optimize and get those sales and reviews, and find those keywords. Focus on what keywords that convert well. Don't focus on things that are going to be temporary. So for example, with giveaways, yeah, you can take a broad keyword with ton of search volume, do the giveaways and rank number 1 or 2, but it's temporary win. Eventually, Amazon see your conversions, they see the engagement, and they see some other metrics, and you will fall back unless you keep doing the giveaways or very aggressive with PPC. So there is the other approach of saying, focus on what your good keywords are. Focus on where the keywords that you have good conversions, and put your money there. And don't try to go for keywords that anyway your conversion is bad, and whatever efforts you're trying to do are not gonna really work and be very cost effective.
What's your PPC? Obviously, Dustin and I enjoy that as well. What's your structure look like for launching a new product for PPC? There's different. What I love about this is everybody can have a different structure. Like some people do broad phrase, some people just do exact. You can do broad targeting. Like there's so many different options. Where do you go with your structure with a product launch?
Okay, so the same with the product, like what I said before. I like to really test and always see what works, and hear some other people advice, but they're all kind of the same. You discover new keywords. I mean, you do your initiate research, find good list of keywords. In my case, it's like 20. Do exact manual campaign for those 20. The same with the product targeting, 20 ASINs. Starting to get more reviews and more data. I'm sorry, getting few reviews, creating auto campaign with very aggressive bidding. Recently, I was exposed to a tool that is basically creating for you a lot of auto campaigns with bid tiers. So they will start with 50 cents, 60 cents, 70, like 15 or 20 campaigns like that. Then they re-optimize it by doing it by smaller bids. Like let's say you figure out your sweet spot is 90 cents. You're going to create 91, 92. Basically, you're trying to target with a different type of campaigns, different audiences, and targeting. And giving Amazon AI the power pretty much. But yeah,
That's interesting.
focus, of course, on launch. Focus on one keyword that I think it's going to convert well, and optimizing my ranking only to that keyword. So it's going to be in the title first thing, and I'm going to create an exact campaign for that keyword, and really trying to rank number one for that. And usually it's very quick, like you know.
How long do you keep that campaign running? Do you ever just like transition to more of like a discovery campaign after you've got some reviews, or is it always like exact match, and be really aggressive on that?
Yeah. So after I get some data from the auto, I'm creating more ad groups in the exact campaign that I had with the 20 keywords that I found, and targeting them broad and phrase and creating funnels.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So
And the whole point is just to discover all those words that convert the highest, and then allocate more and more and more of your budget there.
Yeah. And of course, the more time passed, adding more type of campaigns, sponsored display, brand videos, product video targeting work really great lately. I guess not many people are using it yet, so it works that great. So that's really easy wins to anyone that listen to this. Just create a product. So sponsored brand video campaign with product targeting. Target the category and like bunch of ASINs, and just let it optimize the bids. Worked really great. Optimize for impressions also work really good lately. It's new feature that Amazon released. So for the sponsored display, you for the objective, instead of optimize for page visits, you optimize for impressions. There is weird thing there that made me pause the campaign. The data is very delayed, so you would see things like only after like a week, which is weird comparing some other type of campaigns. And because I saw that I'm spending like too much money and no conversions, I paused the campaign. They came back to it after a week and seeing, oh, what is that? Like I see the conversions there, and I immediately enabled it. And it's also very good return ROS and ACOS, and yeah, always trying like those new type of campaigns, because it takes time for everyone else to get.
Oh, for sure. What about when you're launching? Do you utilize any off Amazon type strategies? Are you doing Google Ads, Facebook marketing? We had Gracie Ryback on yesterday, who's an influencer. Are you doing any influencer marketing? What other tactics are you using to really boost that launch?
Yeah. So with Google Ads, it worked really good to rank. So in that video that I mentioned yesterday, I mentioned that giveaways, it's not an option to anyone that want to be in risk. I mean, there are crazy people there that probably doing it in a very sophisticated way that no one could really see what they are doing. But I'm not in that game, Don't like this feeling, living in a fear like something will happen to my account. But for those that are like me, they can do external traffic. It worked great. You have Amazon attribution to help you see whether your efforts are good or not. A little trick that I like to do to help you really figuring out which keywords are helping your efforts. So with Google Ads, you send the traffic, and Amazon don't tell you which keyword converted. Obviously, you can't put your own pixel on Amazon, right? So what I do is I break down each keyword on Google Ads campaign to an ad group, and each ad group have a unique Amazon attribution link. That way I can see, okay, This keyword gave me 20 better control, pretty much better measuring, and it helps you really laser target the traffic, and after a while post the ad groups that don't do well, or reduce bids and increase bids on some other things that work well. So that's a good way to really measure your effort or your external traffic work. And whether you do it on Pinterest or anywhere else, try to really be like break it down into small um, how I would describe it. So on Google Ads, you can break it down to ad groups. The same with Facebook, you can break it down to ad groups. But Pinterest, you can basically create an ad type for each type of audience, I guess, or targeting that you do to see what works.
That's a
So
really
you
good point.
recently your website Sourcing Monster. What's really great about this space is like we all get into this and then we find an area where we really like, and so then we start to do like another side business based on that area. So tell us what Sourcing Monster does.
Yeah. So it's a YouTube channel. That's how I started. And I started a year after I was in my, in selling on Amazon, because I felt that I'm so passionate about it. I just want to share what I do, what works for me. And I knew that there are much bigger sellers and much smarter people in the space, but, still everyone have their own angle of looking at things. And I felt that I have something to share. And that's why I started this. That's the main reason. Of course, at the end of the day, I want to create another stream of income through this, but it's not something in the short term. I'm looking at it more like 5 years goal. I want to be really the best resource for Amazon FBA news or tutorials or updates that people go to when they need information about Amazon, or Walmart. Walmart, it's yesterday I went with few friends that are also sellers to a bar here, and we had few drinks, and we talked about like how Walmart is going to really, like if they really want to take over Amazon. And we had a little argument who is bigger, and the defense is Walmart is much bigger than as far as like net worth, and we started to Google numbers and stuff. But I really think Walmart is going to be something big, like a lot of people thinking. And I want to be a resource and a source for news there too. I don't really have an agenda. I'm not selling anything through this channel or promoting anything. I actually promote some tools and stuff that people anyway need, like Helium 10 and some stuff like that.
Sure.
But yeah, that's what I did, and it allowed me to connect with many other sellers and people, and that's to me was worth everything. Even though at the beginning it was very hard, I had to do the video editing, I had to do the keyword research and titles and all of that. Now it's the people in my team doing it, so I just can't jump, record 20-30 minutes and pass it to them, so it's an easier process and much faster. And I also bring my team that do Amazon stuff to record videos too, so I'm leveraging other people to create more content. And that's how I'm able to upload a lot of videos and content, and able to connect with people like you. So it's learning from everyone. Really, it's really an amazing journey for me.
It is, and there's something also about when you teach something, you start to understand it better yourself as well. I feel like, and just the amount of content and the quality of your content is fantastic. I know it's helped tons and tons of people out
Thank
there
you.
for sure start their business. It's amazing, really. And you offer coaching as well?
I do offer, but I always increase the price so I get less people to book it. Because obviously like focus, right? It takes a lot of energy from me and destruction, and at the end of the day I like and love doing it, but I it really conflict with my other goals, so I'm not really focusing on coaching, to be honest. I
How's
did
the
recently partner to the YouTube channel, so I partnered with the logistic company, and we offer like freight forwarding services and 3PL services in the US. So this is a business that is working for, like, it's a family business, and he wanted really to penetrate to the market here in the US. He's not from here; he's from Israel. And that's what I did. I was able to collaborate and open myself to new adventures and stuff. So that's really amazing for me.
Well, you got a lot of good content. There's definitely a lot of good videos on here, and it's all up to date. I mean, you just posted like 6 videos within a week, so you're obviously making a lot of content. You mentioned earlier that you're exiting in about you're going to go market in a couple months.
Yeah.
What are you doing now, or what have you done this year to get to that point?
Okay, good question. So, like I said, removing ASINs that are so this brand had a lot of mixed items. So when I started, for me, naturally was to go into the jewelry space. That's what I did for 10 years. And I was managing like the factory and the marketing and knew everything about jewelry. So for me, just bringing a jewelry related tools, that was the first item. Then when I saw that it's not a big enough market on Amazon, I started to look on other categories and niches and brought some other health and beauty products, then gardening products, then toys, like many not related to each other categories and niches. And from a buyer point of view, it's not a good thing to do because it's a more things for them to manage. They like to see that you're in one space good where they can focus. It's too many things. So we remove some categories that are not really profitable or not enough profitable, and focusing on the products that are selling well. That was the strategy. So we removed like 15 ASINs, didn't reorder, let the stock sell out, and added more variations from the items that are actually selling well. That was the strategy, of course, to increase the numbers. I was about to sell it in February this year, 2021. And really, last minute, was about to sign the contract last minute, decided not to because I saw where the multiples are going to. And I just had the feeling that this business have so much potential. Like my products still have potential. I was able after that to get a bestseller badge and increase my market. Then it went down. April and May, I think it's 80% of the accounts on Amazon went like performance went down. I guess it's COVID or whatever was happening there. It's not just me. And it went down and was like, I was supposed to sell it in February. It was a better decision. And all this stress, you have this stress building up like a month after month, you really want to sell it. But I guess that I took the decision and I have to live with it. And it was, it's a learning for me for the future. If you have something good in your hands and you're happy with it, just take it. But of course, it depends on the situation and many other factors. And what I do now, so a few weeks ago, so who represent me, it's fortunate. You probably heard about them, Yael Kabili. And I sat with their team and they was able to come up with their own perspective and tell me, look, Tomer, you're doing well, but the tacos is very hard. The margins are very high. So you're getting a lot of sales from PPC, but organically, you're not doing that great. So focusing now on recently worked amazing day parting. So took experimented. Okay, I started with the slow moving ASIN, experiment this. Actually, the theory behind it is that some people saying, okay, if you do day parting, you're losing all these sales that come at night and all this search volume. And that was I was scared of, right? And I said to myself, let's experiment. Don't come with assumptions again. Let's just try it. And actually, with less budget, I'm getting more sales now. And the theory that I'm thinking of is the following. What I think is that you give Amazon much better signals. You give them that, okay, for this amount of traffic, you're converting much better, and you're converting in much better during those hours, and it actually improve your rankings organically. That's what I'm thinking. That's what actually happening. And actually I'm getting not just like 2 or 3 sales with less budget. I'm getting like if percentage, so from 20 sales 30 sales a day, I'm getting 50 to 60 now. It's like almost doubling. So now I'm really testing it with more and more ASINs, trying basically to reduce the amount, the spend on PPC, and to see the performance, like whether it's going down or not.
For those in this space, what is day parting doing? I mean, I know the three of us know what that is, but what exactly does day parting mean?
Yeah, so you figure out what are the best hours during the day, and it could be, of course, for days of the week that your product is converting on. And you can do it manually. I build tool that just download the Excel, or you have some, PNL tools that do it for you. if I'm not wrong, maybe Amazon, there is one report that is also showing you this, but I'm not 100% sure about it. And you figure out, okay, between 7 in the morning to 8 evening, you're converting like the best. So what you do, you stop your ads after 8 o'clock and you resume them again at 7 a.m. Of course, you don't do it manually. There are plenty of tools. I'm sure your tool is doing it as well.
Yeah.
Perfect. So your tool could help people doing that. And just check by the results. Look at the performance and see, okay, I'm spending the same amount of money. Usually you will spend less because you will not show 24 hours. So you will pay less and you can get the same amount of sales or more. Of course, it could be lower. You never know. You have to try and test.
There's a theme to everything, that basically everything that you're talking about, and it's something that I've been really focused on recently, and something I've been trying to help other sellers with is when you sell, you mentioned it, like it's like FOMO, it's like fear of missing out. Like if you turn your ads off, it's like, oh my God, everybody else is going to get sales but me. And it's like if you've got 10 keywords in your campaign instead of 10,000, it's like, oh, you're missing out on everything. Or if you're like cleaning up products like you're talking about, because these products have a lower profit margin, you could allocate that capital. It's all about focusing on conversions. And you made a good point. You're sending the right signals to Amazon. And it's like Amazon bases almost everything in terms of ranking off of the conversion rate. I mean, they do not want something up there showing at the top of the search that has a lower conversion rate. And if you're only showing that product when it converts at the right time, like with day parting, you're helping those signals out. I think it's everybody who's listening could take a lot from what you're talking about. Just focus on what works and test to figure it out. It's really.
And with Google Ads, you know what's funny? I was testing it at least 5 times and it didn't work. So at first I tested it before even attribution came in, didn't really work. I paused it a few months, but then tested it again, didn't work, tested it again. So even if something doesn't work, it doesn't mean that it won't work in the future. Maybe you did something wrong. And that's why I like to consume a lot of information. So during my day, I always have things running on, whether it's podcasts, courses, stuff like I even if I'm not taking like 100%, which like it's probably what's happening. Maybe I take 20 or 30% from each thing because I'm doing some other stuff. I still able to take some things and write notes. And even if I'm not writing anything, it still go to your unconscious mind and it helps you somehow in the future, I guess.
Well, what's crazy is, I think Dustin's the same. We'll have something on, and then when you hear something that you never heard before, you're like, what?
Yeah, you're like, whoa, what is that?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
Things won't work always, right? Things let's say you try this day parting, it's not working, but you have to understand and set the right expectations. Not everything gonna work, not everything gonna be like a huge win, and that's okay. That's part of the game. Even if you try 10 things and only 2 works and 8 fail, it's good. I'll take it any day, right?
Yeah, it's true. And everybody's looking for like the holy grail. They're coming to you, they're like, what is the answer to my problem? And then almost always it's testing. Just test and see if it works, and then keep testing more. I love it, man. You're a wealth of knowledge. We've got to make sure we get you on again. We could talk about all these topics, but for everybody who's out here right now listening and they want to hear more from you, tell them how they can find you on YouTube, any other social platforms that you're on, or anywhere else that they can find you. Let them know.
Yeah, so it's YouTube. It's Sourcing Monster. You can search for it. Or I'm on. Recently started to really build my LinkedIn profile and share things there. So also on LinkedIn, it's Tomer.
We put a link in the description. So if you're online listening or something or driving, you can check out the link in the description. It goes right to his YouTube channel.
Yep. And the website, sourcing-monster.com. So everyone can check it out.
44 minutes already. It felt like 10 minutes.
I know, right?
It's so fun to talk about this. Well, I'm sure we could talk for hours and hours, but let's do this again. Let's come up. We'll come up with some more specific topics. I mean, I love talking to people that test and can come back and like show this is the results of my test. This is what worked. That to me is the most fascinating type of conversation because it's like with your YouTube channel, you're never ever gonna run out of content to produce because
it's also testing there. So I was testing 3 videos and now I'm testing like, people saying you have to create long videos. Now I'm testing with short videos, 2-3 minutes. So, always testing. And I love testing because it gives you confidence in what you do, like what works, what doesn't, right?
Yeah, I love it. It's funny when we started the podcast, people we're pretty ambitious. We're like, we'll try to do one a day, and everyone's like, "Are you going to have enough topics to cover?" I'm like, we think so. It changed every day. There's something new to talk about on Amazon. So
true.
All right. Well, we will definitely get you back on in the future. And everyone, make sure you go check out all of his content. It's fantastic. He does a great job, great production, great value in there. So check him out. Follow him on all of his socials on LinkedIn. Check out his new updated profile on LinkedIn and go check him out on the website. Also, if you like content like this, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. You can also see us live stream this on Solozo's Facebook page, LinkedIn page, and YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you get notified when we go live with amazing people like Tomer, all the knowledge that he brings. And additionally, if you need help with advertising or you want to implement some of the day parting strategies that Tomer talked about, Solozo is your answer. Go to Solozo.com. You can book a demo with Chris or myself. We'd be more than happy to talk about your campaigns now, how using Solozo to automate and optimize whatever your exact strategy is, and using our data that we pull in to figure out what times of the day your product does convert well. We've got a great heat maps that show when you're making sales for your products, so you know when's a good time to day part. We can show you all of that. So make sure you check out Solozo.com. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Tomer, thanks so much. It's been a blast talking to you.
Chris and Dustin. Thank you very much.
We will stay in touch for sure.
Yeah, hopefully we can talk. I have another after I'm selling, hopefully to share the experience and all of that.
We have to hear all about it for sure. So
yeah.
Good luck with all of that. And thanks for coming on. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next time.